Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most surprising developments in the war between Russia and Ukraine, the idea that General Winter, once considered Russia's most reliable ally, seems to have turned against them. For centuries, Winter has been a decisive factor in Russian military history, from defeating Napoleon in 1812 to grinding down the German Wehrmacht during World War II. But this time, things are looking very different. The narrative has shifted, and Ukraine seems to be using Winter to its advantage in ways that Russia simply did not expect. For a long time, analysts believed that the coming of Winter would favor Russia. The reasoning was simple. Russia has vast stockpiles of equipment, experience fighting in cold weather, and an army that historically relies on winter to slow down its opponents. Ukraine, on the other hand, was expected to suffer. Their infrastructure is weaker, their troops are more exposed, and their energy grid has been a prime target of Russian missile strikes. But as the months have passed, we've seen a completely different picture emerge. Instead of breaking Ukraine's spirit, Winter has only hardened their resolve. One of the biggest surprises has been Ukraine's ability to keep its energy grid functioning despite repeated attacks. Russia believed that taking out power plants and substations would leave millions without heat, forcing Kiev to negotiate from a position of weakness. But Western allies stepped in with transformers, generators, and technical support, helping Ukraine restore power quickly after every strike. This rapid repair effort meant that ordinary Ukrainians never froze on the scale that Moscow had hoped. Instead of collapsing, morale remained strong. On the battlefield, Winter has also exposed Russian weaknesses. Poorly trained conscripts have been sent to the front lines with inadequate winter clothing and equipment. Videos have surfaced of Russian soldiers complaining about lack of supplies, even resorting to buying their own gear online. Frostbite cases have reportedly increased, which lowers combat effectiveness. Ukraine, by contrast, received winter gear from NATO countries and humanitarian organizations. This means their troops can stay warm, stay alert, and maintain a higher level of readiness even in sub-zero temperatures. Another key factor is mobility. Russia's heavy armored columns have struggled in muddy, frozen terrain, while Ukraine has adapted with smaller, more mobile units that use drones, light vehicles, and precision artillery. Winter has slowed large-scale offensives, but Ukraine has used this period to strike strategically. Their drone attacks deep into Russian territory, including oil depots and airbases, have demonstrated that distance is no longer a guarantee of safety for Moscow. The psychological impact of these strikes has been massive. Logistics have also been a nightmare for Russia. Supplying front-line troops with ammunition, food, and fuel in harsh winter conditions is difficult even for a well-organized army. For a military already plagued by corruption and poor planning, the challenge becomes even greater. Broken down trucks, frozen fuel lines, and destroyed supply depots all add up to a slower, weaker offensive capability. Ukraine has taken advantage of this by targeting supply lines and warehouses, making resupply even harder. The symbolism of General Winter turning against Russia cannot be overstated. For centuries, Russia has relied on its vastness and its brutal climate to defeat invaders. This image of the snow-covered battlefield favoring Russian defenders is deeply ingrained in their national mythology. Now, to see Ukraine not only surviving but thriving in winter conditions is a huge psychological blow. It sends the message that Russia no longer has a monopoly on endurance. Morale plays a huge role in any conflict, and winter usually tests it to the limit. Despite the constant shelling, the cold, and the blackouts, Ukrainians have shown remarkable resilience. Public opinion polls suggest that support for continuing the fight remains extremely high. Meanwhile, in Russia, There are growing reports of war fatigue, protests from soldiers' families, and frustration about the length of the war. Winter, instead of freezing the conflict into stalemate, may actually be accelerating internal pressure on Moscow. Western support has been crucial. Countries like the United States, Canada, and members of the European Union have delivered not only weapons, but also humanitarian assistance such as heaters, power generators, and clothing. This aid helps civilians get through the winter, which in turn allows the government to focus on military operations without worrying about a domestic humanitarian disaster. The West has essentially helped Ukraine neutralize Russia's winter strategy. It's also worth mentioning that technology has changed how winter warfare works. During World War Roman II, harsh weather could halt entire armies. Today, with drones, satellites, and precision weapons, fighting continues year-round. Winter no longer guarantees a pause in hostilities. If anything, it creates opportunities for high-tech strikes, because snow makes it easier to spot enemy positions from the air. Ukraine has exploited this with deadly accuracy. Looking ahead, the question is whether Russia can adapt. Their military command is under pressure to achieve some kind of breakthrough, but winter is not giving them the edge they counted on. If anything, their losses may be even higher because of exposure, poor planning, and low morale. Ukraine, meanwhile, continues to receive training and equipment from NATO partners, which should prepare them for spring offensives. This reversal of expectations is fascinating. It shows how wars are not decided by tradition or history, but by preparation, adaptability, and support. The myth of General Winter as Russia's invincible ally has been shattered, at least in this conflict. Instead of freezing Ukraine into submission, winter has become a season of Ukrainian resilience and even counterattacks. As we watch this conflict unfold, one thing is clear: the old playbook no longer applies. Russia's overconfidence in winter's ability to crush its opponent has backfired. Ukraine is writing a new chapter in military history, one where the cold no longer favors the invader but empowers the defender. It's a powerful reminder that even the harshest conditions can be turned into an advantage with the right strategy, support, and determination. Thank you for watching, and if you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates on the war, geopolitics, and international news. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.